My name is Fabian Crain. I'm the head of business development at Eris, and this is David Gardner. He's the head of partnerships. And hopefully at the end of this, you'll have a little bit of a better understanding of blockchains, although I'm sure there will still be lots of open questions. So yeah, a decade from now, blockchains and smart contracts, as we view it, is going to be prevalent. It's going to be part of lots of organizations in many different ways. So what is it going to look like? There's so many different use cases. I'm sure payments is the one that most people are familiar with. Now, whether it's going to be Bitcoin or something else, there's no question in our mind that a decade from now, payments are going to be global, they're going to be peer-to-peer, they're going to be instant, they're going to be purely digital, the way we think they should work in this time and day. But of course, when we talk about Eris, actually a lot of other things are interesting too that go beyond payments and beyond money. And those are things like supply chains, when we will have transparency in supply chains so that when you have a product, you can follow each component back to its roots, where it came from, and manage this data and these processes with blockchains. Or another example could be voting, when we'll have voting and election processes that are administered purely by a blockchain so that everything is completely transparent. People will be voting digitally, and one can get rid of election fraud. And of course, insurance, which we're all here for, is also a very interesting use case. And blockchains, we expect, is going to bring tremendous disruption to this area. So until recently, even, people looked at this whole thing as a little bit dubious, a little bit questionable, and of unproven value. And now the value is still unproven, but the perception has definitely changed. Today, many organizations, whether that's government, legal scholars, NGOs, international organizations, banks, or corporates are seeing blockchains as a critical part of their future and of their strategy. And so this has become a typical thing to see something like The Economist saying that blockchains will transform how the economy works. So now, very briefly, what's the deal? What are the advantages of blockchains? So blockchains are basically distributed databases that are managed in a peer-to-peer network, so there's no central authority, no central point of failure. And they offer a few very attractive things, such as immutability, so that you know that if something's been committed there, you can rely on it, and you can be sure that it can't be somebody can go back and forge it. So this gives a lot of auditability and certainty about processes and about data. So yeah, blockchains do allow verifiable data. And what's also important, you've probably heard of it, is this term smart contracts, which is where Eris focuses on a lot. And what smart contracts do is that they add functionality to blockchains. And they really allow to manage not just data sets, but entire processes in a common and joint way. And that really allows to automate multi-stakeholder complex processes. And as was just pointed out before, this is really a critical thing in insurance. And I'm sure many of you are familiar that today banks are understanding that this is the future, and they view this as an absolutely critical part of their strategy, investing a lot of money, investing a lot of resources in understanding the technology and acquiring resources and kind of getting to the front of this. So now where does Eris come in? What do we do? So we offer the most comprehensive platform to develop blockchain and smart contract applications. Now, essentially that means we make it easy to develop enterprise-grade blockchain and smart contract applications. We do this in two ways. First of all, we have a developer platform that takes out a lot of the complexity, a lot of the jargon, and a lot of the intricacies that evolve around building blockchain applications to make it easy. And we also combine a lot of different technologies, because blockchains, it's not a monolithic thing, but one has to combine a lot of different things, and Eris platform makes that possible. And the other thing we do is the smart contract libraries and modules, which are really templates and modules that can be used for different use cases. So be it debt instruments, be it different claims management, things like that. And that can then be configured for a specific use case, as opposed to having to develop from scratch each time anew.
My role at Eris is head of partnerships, and this is an interesting thing, because I think I'm the first person who's not really immersed in the technology, and that's an indicator of where Eris is at the moment. The products work, we're doing proof of concepts with those products, and so it's now time to work on how we get those products out to our customers, people like yourselves. And really, one of the things that Eris thinks is that blockchains are not an instrument purely for the financial industry. They really are a piece of functionality that any organization or group of organizations can benefit from. And so there's an enormous challenge for us to try and skill up and grow quickly enough to really accommodate the demand. So we are very committed to going with partners. My background is for the last 25 years. I've developed partner networks with companies, for example, with Microsoft, global networks of partners, so I understand exactly what you need to do that. We are committed to going that way. Partners offer two things. First of all, they have just a breadth of resources to manage the work that needs to be done, but they also have something that would be very difficult for us to get, which is specific domain knowledge about the various industries. It would be difficult for us to be experts in your business, but we can work with partners who do have that expertise. The first that we've signed up, the first strategic partner that we've signed up is PwC, but we are in talks with all their competitors and a number of other big global organizations. But we also see that we will be working with ISVs, OEMs, and also niche players on things like training or specific parts of the food chain, as it were. So I'll hand it back to Brian.
So there's lots of different use cases in insurance, and I think Leanne is going to talk tomorrow, and I'm sure she's going to do a fantastic job at going a lot deeper than we do here. But and I think before it was pointed out quite nicely what some of the interesting things are. Now, we haven't done so much in insurance, but we have done a lot in finance, and a lot of the things are extremely similar. So for example, if you do reinsurance for a financial product, the technology-wise, it pretty much carries over exactly to the insurance context. So reinsurance is, for example, an interesting use case, right? Where if you can have a bundled product, and through blockchains, you can have complete visibility in all the underlying assets. And of course, other things that come into the same vein is like insurance-backed debt products, bonds, and things like that. So we've done some of that in finance. We've developed some of the fundamental technology, and we're extremely excited to see those kind of things come to the insurance space as well.
So really, the key message for us is that we feel there's a massive opportunity for people in your position where the technology is very suited to the challenges or to overcoming the challenges that you want. Unlike the financial services industry, where everybody and all the suppliers and all the partners are very, very engaged, we find that, particularly on the partner front, people don't quite have a drive to take this over. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to be a first mover in this space and to do something ahead of the game. And hopefully we've given you a glimpse of what is possible or what sort of challenges can be overcome. And hopefully this will motivate you to get your innovation teams, the partners that you're working on, to really look into this technology and make sure that you're preparing for the future. And certainly we hope that they would speak to us about how they could go about that. So I hope you've enjoyed the conference, and thank you very much.